Today was a busy day. We visited the animals at...
Ladies and gentlemen, the Traveling Wild Barriers.
The Assiniboine Zoo in the morning, and then visited the Forks downtown in late afternoon/evening. We arrived at the zoo before they opened for the day, so seeing as we had an empty parking lot to deal with, we had the opportunity to position the RV in a strategic spot. Strategic meaning not too far from the entrance, but easily accessible once the lot got full, and yet at the same time being aware of the path of the sun throughout the day so that the solar panels would charge up the onboard batteries. Now that's thinking. It would seem that we managed quite well, as the batteries had plenty of juice when we got back, and it was easy enough to maneuver out of the lot as well. While relaxing and waiting for the zoo to open, we were treated to numerous flyovers of various types of airplanes and jets. Flyovers, eh? Yeah, it would seem that the zoo is in the flight path of the James Armstrong Richardson Airport. After watching a few planes, we had some breakfast and then packed a lunch and headed over to the front gate. Turns out I qualified for a Father's Day discount, so that was a bonus. Yeah, perks and bonuses, gotta love them. The route we took upon entering the zoo had us meeting up with the buffalo, the wolves, the reindeer, and a few other large animals before coming across the lions and tigers. It was quite a warm day, so they seemed a tad bit restless and vocal as well. The tigers and lions were one of the highlights for cats, so we lingered in this area for a little longer. Next came one of my favorites, the white polar bears. A cat liked them too. They were quite sedentary at first, but one of them decided he was going to have a swim, and he dove in the water. That was really cool. Between their antics and the antics of the otters and seals in the same area, we felt quite entertained. It's always fun to watch the reaction of the younger kids as they delight in every move the animals make. The zoo had a special exhibit featuring giant bugs, which came shortly after we saw the polar bears. Oh, did I mention that some of the insects did animatronic type movements? After which we visited a couple of camels just before stopping for lunch at what seemed to be the halfway mark. After lunch and a random visit from one of the many peacocks that roam around the park, we visited the area where many of the smaller animals are kept.
Hey, guys. Oh, it's beautiful. This is great.
Oh, another one came up.
That ended up being the second half of the visit. Once we got settled back in the RV, we headed towards the Forks. We ended up parking right across from the popular City TV building, which was also right next to the train tracks. And just a few steps from the waterfront at the Forks. After a tour of the area, we went in search of our overnight spot. We found a nice cozy spot just across the bridge and alongside a nice park, which faced the water. And again, not too far from a set of train tracks. Imagine that. Even though we probably walked more today than we'd normally do in a week, it would seem that we hadn't had enough. Steps, steps, steps. So after we found our spot and parked the rig, we decided to go out for yet another evening walk along the waterfront. This walk took us past the infamous St. Boniface Cathedral and along the waterfront right across from the Human Rights Museum, where we sat and chatted for a bit before heading back to the RV and calling it a day. Oh, we forgot to mention that we drove into town last night and stayed at the casino after leaving the street party. I guess that's it for now. Be sure to come back and check out the next video where we visit a beautiful park not far from the downtown area. Ciao for now.
Human hand exhibit.